So it's another custom boot rack of the week, and the more of these we do, the more excited I get seeing all the variations. Just when I think there isn't a boot that I haven't seen, someone comes up with something new and exciting. So just as we always do, a little update from the factory is we have just signed off on our anatomical Barefoot last. So for those of you who are a fan of our Barefoot boots, you will be getting a much wider and more foot-shaped last, hopefully by the end of this year. Another update is we are working on a Barefoot moccasin. So we've been hard at work here and lots to look forward to later this year. Outside of the shoe scene, what we've also started is every 3 to 4 months, we're going to be having courtyard bras, as we call it here in South Africa, or barbecues, or just a good old lunch. We decided with our team growing over the last couple of years, rather than focusing on just making shoes, to pick up some morale, we'll have a delicious meal, and we managed to get a few videos and snips from there that we'll put up for you to see. So let's dive into our custom boot rack of the week. So with us heading into our rugby season, which is one of the more popular sports here in South Africa, one of our arch rivals happens to be from down under New Zealand. So this first boot we're going to speak on is all the way off to New Zealand, and I think this chap has really come up with a great combination and something we actually haven't seen before. So it's our roughout gym green brown leather, which has a much richer and darker color to it than the roughout buffalo that we've seen on previous videos. He's finished this boot off with a brown stitch down throughout the boot, brown shoelaces, and our standard African Ranger upper. Now where he's really gone a little bit out there with this boot is that he's gone for our polyester woven midsole and our mini lug EVA outsole. So this boot is really lightweight while giving that extra durability with our mini lug outsole. Now the reason I love this boot is it's lightweight. I'm all in favor for a nice lightweight hiker. It's still going to have the durability that our gym green range comes with, and with time and wear, I really like our gym green browns and tans, the more traditional leathers that our range started out with. So this boot, nice and lightweight, going to age great with time, and always good to see something a little bit different playing around with the combinations that we have to offer. So all the way from New Zealand, we're now sending a boot off to Texas. And this is quite a nice, interesting combo, and it's a variation that we often see here, and that's a combination of our African buffalo skin and our Afrique leather. Now the African buffalo comes with that natural texture with the buffalo that we source from out in the wilderness areas. Then our Afrique leather is a print bovine, and these combine together to create quite an interesting contrast. Now this Afrique leather has some areas of some much lighter, almost fudge looking leather. With time and wear, it does darken, especially if you're going to add a leather balm, and that's going to blend in the buffalo and this leather. Now once again, and we're not used to seeing this customer has gone for our polyester woven midsole and our falcon outsole. So this boot once again is lightweight. A little bit more lightweight than the boot we've just chatted on, and that's obviously because of the falcon sole and polyester woven midsole. But this boot gives you a slightly more formal side profile, and this falcon sole is just a great easygoing option that's not going to gather as much debris as you're going to get on the mini lug outsole. One thing to point out is this customer has gone for a shank in this boot, and I think that is a great idea. While we've been playing around with some samples, I actually made a pair of Fellies for myself with a falcon sole and no shank, and I really didn't enjoy it all that much because I just felt that my arch in my foot was sinking down a little bit with this heel. So just a little pointer, if you're going to go for a sole that has a heel, our falcon sole or our frog grip sole, I would recommend putting a steel shank in there unless you really want to go for not having that support under your foot. And to top it all off, and something I really like about this boot is the olive stitching and olive shoelaces. I think it brings together the buffalo skin and ties in this boot as a great unique option. Sticking with our olive stitching and shoelaces, this customer has gone for an African Ranger, but in our JG black leather. Now what I really like is how you can see the same stitching but different leathers, how the boots contrast so nicely. Now this customer has gone for Barefoot African Ranger with a composite toe cap. So he's obviously requiring that in the work environment, and pretty much all the specs are the same. Something to point out though is that he has only gone for one speed hook. So he obviously wants to tighten these down pretty much all the way to the top, and just that last speed hook to help get his foot into the boot or get his foot out of the boot after a long day's work. Now the rest of the boot is our stock standard barefoot option. So our leather midsole with a resin runner, and then our anvil outsole, which is going to be nice and comfortable for long days on the feet. So this boot, being our JG black leather, has quite a nice finish to it, so it's going to be quite robust, and he's going to be able to, with some a leather balm and polish, shine this up quite nicely over time. The JG leather, because of how we finish it off, does have slightly better water resistant properties to it. So if water or anything does bounce off this, it isn't going to sink in as something would, like on our fudge leather, or maybe on the roughout, where it'll absorb a lot faster. So this pair is off to the state of Washington. And to finish things off, we've decided to go with our legend of the range, the Razorback boot. So getting away from the African Ranger, this boot has been in our range since day one, so over 30 years, and rightfully so, because it simply can do anything. So if this boot works for you, it's very hard to go for anything else once it's broken in. Now many customers do have a bit of a break-in time with this boot just because of how the upper is shaped and the materials we use, but once it gets going, it's literally like having a little tank on your feet for a great affordable price. So how has this customer changed the legend of our range? The first thing you're going to notice is he has added a leather toe cap. So here you're going to have 2 layers of full grain leather combined with a thermoplastic toe puff. So if you feel this when it comes out the box, you could mistake that it has a steel or composite toe cap, but it doesn't. It just means that we're using lots of leathers plus that thermoplastic toe cap on the front here for some added protection. Now I really like how he's gone for the fudge and natural rubber outsole. It makes everything come together and pop, and he's finished it off with a brown collar. Now this guy, he's stuck to our traditional gym green shoelaces, which goes really well with our fudge leather. And just to add a little bit of extra spunk to this boot, he's added the white stitch down thread with white upper stitching. So I think this boot really sticks to what we are here at Gym Green, our traditional colors, our logo on the side here. Just another point is that normally we would put Gym Green Razorback embossing here, whereas he's asked for our loyal Gym Green frog. And this boot comes together as a great all-round hiking boot and something you could use in the workplace too. Our fudge leather, as you guys have seen, ages great and gets an awesome patina. So these oils are going to start to come through here as he uses the boot, and it's going to tie in very nicely with this brown color, reducing that two-tone effect. So a great boot, finished off with our leather midsole, which means this is a little bit on the heavier side, but he is going to have this boot for many adventures and years to come. And this boot is off to British Columbia, Canada. Some good news is that while we're talking about Canada, is that we are in the process of opening a warehouse there to help with distribution. And for anyone in Canada, by the end of this year, you should easily be able to get your gym greens, return, exchange them, and be part of the family. So today is a little bit of a special day because we are going to include a 5th pair of custom-made gym greens. The reason we didn't have it on the table to start is halfway through this video, we got a knock on the door saying that these were ready. And this is a very special pair because it's going to one of our very loyal supporters. And while we were chatting on Rugby on our very first pair, so this pair is going to a South African, and he happens to be a very famous rugby player playing for our local side, the Sharks. And his name is Ntuthuko Nchuno, who is a front row forward and a big chap that loves farming. Now we saw him wearing a pair of our African Rangers, and we started chatting with him, and we said to him, please design us the boot that you would really want to have. And just while we're on the topic of the Razorback, he has gone for a steel toe cap Razorback. Now as you can see, very similar to the boot we have just chatted on, although he's gone with the brown stitch down and stuck with our Razorback embossing compared to the gym green embossing on the side. Now Ntuthuko has been a great addition to the Sharks. Unfortunately, he is moving off to the Stormers at the end of the season, but he also has a couple caps for our national team, the Springboks, and we're looking forward to seeing him play down the line and all his success. So as I sometimes do, I like to choose my favorite boot from this custom rack. Before I do that, if you guys could please hit our like button, subscribe to our channel if you're not already. Every little bit goes that extra mile for us, just to help us with, especially in the comment section, we're always reading down there what to do next. And many of our ideas come from these custom boots and what you guys are after. So if you're wanting different color shoelaces, different leathers, just let us know and we'll obviously look at it and try and add it down the line to be one of the best custom boots manufacturers in the world. So my favorite boot is the one that's off to New Zealand, and the reason I love this boot is I just love a rough out leather and combining it with our mini lug outsole and keeping it lightweight. This is something I would love to wear and see how it goes. So looking forward to seeing how this boot fares out down under in New Zealand. And we'll see you on our next episode.